Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Augie, and before we get into the video, like always, if you are new to the channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to turn on the bell notification so that way you never miss out on another new video. Also, we just received the join button not too long ago over here on YouTube, so if you want to support the channel even further, you can go ahead and do so. There are a ton of cool emotes and perks to get along with it, so if you want to go the full length in supporting the channel, and if you want to see more consistent uploads, be sure to join the channel by clicking the join button right below this video. Now, with all that said and done, enjoy the video. You know, ever since the end of the Shibuya incident arc within the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, I've been having some thoughts here and there just based on some personal speculation on where the manga might be heading and what Akutami might be trying to accomplish moving past Jujutsu Kaisen's biggest arc yet. And let me tell you, once I caught up with the manga of Jujutsu Kaisen back when the first season of the anime first aired, I fell in love with such a nostalgic factor from the series, and it did truly feel like it was something that could have honestly come out during the time the big three were at its peak. But now with each and every chapter to come out pretty much post the Star Plasma Vessel arc, Jujutsu Kaisen has felt like such an innovative shonen series, but still have that reminiscence feeling of a shonen that could have possibly come out so many years ago, if that makes sense. But to kind of get to the point and talk about what's currently escalating within the Jujutsu Kaisen manga right now is something I've been eager to do, and with some of the most fortunate and of course unfortunate news regarding the manga of JJK and Akutami's well-being. So with that, I thought we could talk and discuss about the recent events within the manga of Jujutsu Kaisen and go over what all this news has concerning the fate of Jujutsu Kaisen. So let's talk about what's been going on within the recent chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen. Since the Shibuya incident arc, there have already been two arcs that have occurred, one being the Itadori extermination arc and the current arc, which is considered the perfect preparation arc. And so with this so-called perfect preparation arc, there have already been a massive amount of changes within the story and characters, mainly those who are in relation to the Zenin clan. And if you ask me, these and how would I put it, I guess development more so for Maki is honestly something that just surprised me entirely. I get the whole message behind her meaning and just what she represents for the clan and how she was neglected. However, I feel as if Jujutsu Kaisen has always been in the darker light of things, if that makes sense. One thing I respect a lot from Akutami sensei is personally how we can take such dark elements and implement them into his world without it feeling as if it's entirely evil elements. Because when looking at it from a surface level, it's always hard to forsake the outcome of what Akutami is doing when it comes to these specific elements. I think he does such a well job when he meshes the dark tone of things but with such a shonen feel to it. Nonetheless, I think recently, especially with this upcoming chapter that will only have roughly around 9 pages to go about, Akutami has been fully expressing the dark tone of the series and just letting it run loose. And a lot of people might call it too much for a shonen series, but I would say no and make the call that this is just what Jujutsu Kaisen needs to elevate it to the next level for the route it's trying to go on. Not to mention, but the way Akutami formulates his tone into his fighting and choreography is honestly just outstanding. Some people might not like the line work, but I'm honestly a fan of it, and I think it's a nice touch to add on to the series. But speaking of the line work, I find it apparent that not too long ago, people were really giving Akutami sensei a lot of backlash because I believe he submitted a draft page within the latest chapter, or might have been the chapter prior. But either way, it just seems that Akutami wasn't capable of really finishing the chapter incomplete, so he ended up submitting just a draft of a page for the final product, which if you ask me, at first I didn't even notice it while reading it, that's how minor it was, but it turns out Akutami sensei has just been burned out from all the excessive amount of work and has recently come out saying that he will be going on a hiatus for what I believe is only like a month or so long, which got me really thinking. And looking back, these mangakas hardly ever get the breaks they truly need. I mean, if you think about it, these mangakas have to release a chapter weekly, so the amount of work that stacks up on that is honestly just unimaginable. Like, I can only imagine the step-by-step process is probably hard in of itself, so to add on to actually doing all that within 1 week just doesn't sound easy in the slightest. But in one way or another, this in the end is honestly just the best option for Akutami sensei, so that within due time he could be at his full potential, ready to release chapters at the best of his abilities. Now, moving back to the recent events in the manga, I kind of wanted to touch upon some things regarding the Culling Games, because once I first saw this, I thought this was immediately like some Hunger Games type of ordeal. I don't know why, it just did, and it was a bit odd, but after a while trying to evaluate it, there seemed to be only a few certain things that could end well out of this. The biggest one would of course being able to free Satsuyu Gojo, because let's be honest, if it was him in this case, he could tackle this whole situation situation by himself. Although taking that into account, there are a ton of new faces that will be participating in the Culling games that are pretty much unknown as of right now. So what I think Akutami Sensei is trying to tell us is that even with the help of Gojo, this might not be as easy as what everyone makes it out to be, and that's if they do free Gojo. But the Culling games is something I'm super excited to dive into because it's where I think as of right now might end up being one of, if not the darkest way to go about a shonen arc. And already from what I said earlier, we can pretty much see where it's going just with what's going on with Maki alone right now. So to take this whole country of Japan and Master Tengen's territory barrier, there will, and I mean there will be a lot of unnecessary casualties at the least, following up from most likely some shocking main cast of character deaths. So just take a look at what's been going on right now with Yaga dead and most of the Zenin clan pretty much wiped. I just don't see Akutami Sensei stopping anytime soon, and from the looks of it, it just looks like a warm-up, and it's gonna get a whole lot worse for the cast of Jujutsu Kaisen once the Culling games officially starts. But be that as it may, I don't know about you all, but I'm just super thrilled to see what Akutami Sensei has in store for us within this next upcoming arc alone. And to think that this manga is supposed to end in 2023 just doesn't sound realistic, but with the pace and effort Akutami Sensei is putting into this series, it will pretty much align in the way he sees fit for the series. And now with Jujutsu Kaisen going into this direction of just an all-out battle against the characters of the series, it leaves open so many possibilities along with raising the stakes for characters that we may or may not have really cared about up until this point in the series thus far. So to make it immense, Akutami Sensei is really going to start ramping things up in a way where I just can't imagine the possibilities, whether it be from character growth or an all-out fight between rivals or some sort of domain expansion collision. I just see the start of the Culling games being some huge event, and I just can't wait to see what comes next. And aside from that, I realize that with the growth and potential that Jujutsu Kaisen has already accomplished just from this year alone, with a massive amount of sales which I believe is taking over the #1 spot this year, right along with Tokyo Revengers, Jujutsu Kaisen has pretty much made it into the big leagues at this point. Whether some people like it or not, it's just a simple fact that the manga industry is skyrocketing and Jujutsu Kaisen is going up along with it. So all in all, Jujutsu Kaisen is a series if you haven't read and or watched it already, which you probably should have if you watched throughout the entirety of this video. Please take a look into it because it's seriously changing up the world of anime and manga as we know it. But as always everyone, thanks to all who made it to the end of the video. I hope you all did enjoy the video. I'm honestly super excited to see what's next for the entirety of the series, whether it be for the manga and or the anime. The future is honestly just looking so good for this series, and I can't wait to see what comes next within the next couple of years for the series of Jujutsu Kaisen. But anyways, make sure before you click off the video to drop a comment on your thoughts on the video and let me know your overall thoughts on the series of Jujutsu Kaisen, and if you're either an anime only watcher and or a manga reader. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join the Discord if you have not already. We got the Discord up and running again, so join the Discord in the link in the description box down below. Also, shout out to the first legendary member rank on the channel, the Meaning of Nerd. And with that everyone, my Twitter is at AnimeAugie, and I'll make sure to catch each and every single one of you guys in the next video. Peace.